Whales are creatures that are loved by many, and because of the fact that they've been around for millions of years, they have a lot of evolution behind them. So how can we learn their evolutionary history, and how can different species be placed onto an evolutionary chart to tell us how these creatures evolved into what we know and love today? To understand where whales come from, first we need to look into the distant past. Scientists called paleontologists study fossils or ancient bones of creatures that allow us to understand where our modern day animals come from. This is a 34 million year old fossil cetacean. It is currently in the process of being prepped out of the rock it was excavated in. Scientists use small tools like dental picks or a pneumatic air scribe, which uses pressurized air to carefully remove dirt away from the bone. After those two tools are used, we eventually end up with the product of a very well prepped fossil that allows us to see different anatomical features. After a fossil is prepped and cleaned after the excavation, we can then study all the anatomical details. All of these minute details are very important to identifying the animal as a whole. It can tell us different things about it, such as how it lived, how old it is, and what type of climates it might have lived in.
Anatomical features can tell us a lot of things about an animal, but is mainly used to help us classify and identify different animals and to help us figure out their modern-day counterparts. Many paleontologists use a comparative collection or a collection of modern-day skeletons to help us identify different bones from different animals and hopefully one day reconstruct a very similar skeleton to what the fossil animal would have looked like.
Overall, the terms and techniques I went over with you today are what we use to help us make cladograms. Cladograms are basically family trees that cover the evolutionary history of millions of years of an animal. We use them to help us place our specimen in so we can see what our specimen did to help an animal evolve into what it is. In this case, a whale, and how it got to our modern day orcas and other killer whales that we love.